So VOX recently just released this VT40X Classic Blue Valvetronix amp, and what does that mean? What does the Classic Blue mean? Some of you who are fans of the Valvetronix series know that the first line of Valvetronix amps that was released was this really cool machine looking VOX Blue 8060 Valvetronix 8120 Valvetronix, and they were seen as gigging machines and studio tools, and really you had all of these cool looking things that you could do with it. The front panel was just like a monster of a technology that you could just look at and just be amazed by it. I reviewed that particular amp about 2 years ago, or maybe about a year and a half ago, and I was very impressed because you can find those amps today for like $200 or somewhere along those lines, and they're just some great amps, and they really punch above their weight. Back then when you bought those new, they were probably more on the higher end, $700, because they were this new technology. But now that modeling has been around for so many years, they decided to pay tribute to those first line of Valvetronix amps, and they call this one the Classic Blue, and it says that they updated the modeling technology in it. So I'm excited to hear it, and I'm excited for you guys to hear it and to give me your thoughts. And this amp, there's a lot to it. So you're gonna see the timestamps that I have in this video. Please feel free to use them. This is gonna be a long video. I'm gonna be jumping through the different pedals and the different amps. I'm not gonna talk while I'm playing. I'm just gonna give you guys like a brief kind of introduction as to what you're looking at with the top panel. And then I'm just gonna play, and you guys are gonna just use your ears and listen and see what you think. Please let me know your impressions at the end, what you're hearing, if you like it. And if you're an owner of that Classic Blue, Valvetronix amp from back then, let me know how you think this pairs with that, or how it competes. This little thing here it just looks great, but does it sound great? I guess that's the one thing we'll find out. So let's do this. Before I get started, I wanted to show you the top panel and kind of describe everything that I'm going to be doing as I'm playing, so that you don't hear me playing and stopping and talking, and I'll just get all the talking out of the way right now, describing what's kind of going on here. So starting from the left, you got your input, your foot switch, you got your banks if you have any presets, but this also serves as kind of like a part of the tuner as well. And you also have your pedals, you have the tap right here, the values that would affect each pedal. If you're hearing a squeaking, that's my dog. She's playing with her toy. But yes, the value 1 and value 2 affects the settings of these pedals. Sometimes that could be for example, for the reverb, it could affect how long the reverb lasts or how much it is in the mix. And for pretty much the same for like overdrives, you may get like a tone and a volume for one of these. So use your ears when listening to this, because this can affect different parts of these pedals, but you will hear it when I'm playing. The amp models over here, you have your Deluxe Clean, your TWEED 4x10, your AC30, your Boutique Overdrive, the VOX AC30 Top Boost, and British Overdrive, or what does it say? British 8 Overdrive, or 800? 800. BRIT or Mark II, double rec, user A, user B, user C, and I'm assuming these are presets you can save. And then over here, you have your gain, your treble, your middle, your bass, your volume, and your power level. And now the important thing that you're going to see here, so I'm going to keep my volume all the way up. And really what I'll be tweaking as I'm playing, depending on the volume, is the gain and the power level. Think of the power level as sort of the attenuator for the amp of sorts. It kind of goes from like a 1 watt to the full wattage of the amp. And then this is mainly kind of like your volume. As you turn it up, you get that distortion, that overdrive. And this is just the overall volume, but I like to keep this all the way up. Some of the things that some of you out there may know when dealing with the Valvetronix series is actually keeping the volume all the way up and using the gain and the power level is how you're going to get a much better sound. And the treble, middle, and bass, of course, is your EQ, and I'll adjust that according to which one I'm playing. This is the power switch, of course, your auxiliary in, which you will play, maybe like an MP3 player if you still have one, or if you own one, a CD player, whatever it is that goes in your aux. These days we just use our phones, and headphones. And then here you'll see bias shift and class. Now you're probably wondering, what in the world is this? Now I can tell you right now, let me just grab the manual, that this is what Vox is saying in their manual, what this whole setting is. So for example, your bias shift button. This adjusts the bias for the tubes. So when operating point of the tube is changed, the character of the distortion will change. Each press of the bias shift button switches it in the following. Oh, I'm reading this terribly. I'm sorry. But essentially, when it's off, the mode is uses the standard bias voltage, operating the amplifier at its normal function. The green, this mode uses a lower bias voltage. Each note can be clearly heard and unique sustain can be achieved. And then red, this mode uses a higher bias voltage. It can add more dynamics to an overdriven sound. And then the class button changes the operation of the power amp section. Each press of the class button switches it in the following order, green and red. Green being class A and produces a straightforward and intuitive response. And then red, it operates in class AB and produces unique tonal nuances through compression and crossover distortion. So you'll see as I change between these amps that sometimes it will actually change here. And I may change the button depending on how I'm feeling. You'll notice that when playing in person, you can actually really feel that the compression kind of happens in your playing. I'm not sure how the mic will capture this, but you may see me clicking here and there, and that's probably because I feel like the sound is a little too compressed and I want it more open. But hopefully that's enough of that. This is, of course, your foot switch and the USB, which I don't even know if anybody still owns this kind of USB. That's a little interesting that they keep that on there. But enough of me talking. We'll go ahead and start with the deluxe clean. I'm playing through a Stratocaster, and maybe for the high gain, I'll bring out a guitar with a humbucker, and then we'll see if we can get some better sounds. But this is what we're hearing right now, and this is the power button, so I'll be turning it on soon, and you'll see the whole light show. So let's get started. Alright you guys, so we're here at the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Now, what did you think of this Blue Valvetronix VT40X in the Classic Blue? Let me know what you think, because I'm about to share with you what I think of it and how it compares to the 8060 Valvetronix that I played way back then, just about a year or two ago. So I think I would like to point out a few of the negatives. There's not many, but there are some that I will point out. And the first one I would like to point out, I think it's not a big deal. It certainly will not sway you from playing or buying the product. It's just a little quirky, and it's the power cable. The power cable on this thing is interesting. They have this little 19 volt kind of adapter that you plug in this, regular power cable to, and it just doesn't look very nice in my opinion. I feel like it kind of looks like you're playing a pedal of sorts, even though it's an amp. I don't know. I guess it's not a big deal, like I said, but for me, it just feels a little odd. And I know that with this amp, they have this kind of thing where it auto shuts off after a certain period of time, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Or maybe the power requirements of this amp are just different, I don't know. But that to me aesthetically is a little strange. But once you look past that, I think it's a great sounding amp. And then the other thing I would like to say that's not a negative, but for those of you who are owners of the old Valvetronix, you will definitely probably think that this amp is somewhat subdued, because the older one has so many different amp models, so many different pedals, and just more with that amp. And I would like to say that the older Valvetronix was aimed for the gigging musician and the studio musician, and it was priced at that point in time as such. You can now find them used for a much more affordable price that competes with regular modeling amps even today with that price point. Although those amps are pretty heavy and big and bulky, if you're a gigging musician and you want to do like something where you're not using a tube amp, you want to use a modeling amp, those old classic Valvetronix amps are still, in my opinion, some of the best things you can use if you don't want to use anything expensive while you're gigging, and they still sound really great. This, on the other hand, this small VT40X is aimed more for the beginner, or maybe the intermediate, I would say, because this right here is $400, the VT40X. You do have the VT20, which is a little bit cheaper, and it does have a smaller speaker. And yeah, I guess you could think that these are more for the beginner intermediate player. The amp models and the pedals have all been kind of brought down to the essentials, which is not a bad thing. I mean, these really are the essentials, and I couldn't really ask for more. I didn't feel that I needed more from this amp. I felt like they gave us quite a lot. And initially I was a little curious about that bias function, and with the class A, B, and class A thing. But there is a subtle difference, and it does kind of affect your playing. And I do like that they give you the ability to sort of like change that if you feel that maybe it sounds a little too compressed when you dig in, if you wanted a little more open, airy sound. It does have that nuance that I think could be appreciated for those people who are able to sort of pick that up with their ears and their playing. So overall, I think this amp still sounds really good. They paid a decent homage, is that the word, to the original Valvetronix, and I'm impressed. It sounds great. I would say if we don't take into the consideration of the size of the old amps and the bigger 12-inch speaker that they had versus this one that's a 10-inch speaker and it's a smaller cab, the sound is very comparable. I think they're very good. It doesn't sound massive like the older ones, but the quality of the sound is there, and I like that. And then you have the effects, they sound great too. I was really impressed by those reverbs. They have this big luscious sound that is impressive. You didn't get that with the older Valvetronix amps. So this amp has its pros and cons, and I think that I will give it a thumbs up. I love it. It's a great amp, and if you have the money, I think it's comparable. I think it's better sounding than a Boss Katana. I keep talking bad about the Boss Katana, but I do think that it's better than the Boss Katana, even the smaller one. And I did recently do a review of the Fender, and that one is a little bit more affordable than this one, but this sounds way better than that one. So I think this one, as far as modeling goes, and if you want like a beginner / intermediate, if you're okay with paying $400, if you find these used on the market, I'm sure there'll be a deal. But they are relatively new, so you may not find that yet. But when you do, these are a steal. Makes perfect sense to get one of these amps. So that's enough. I know this video is long. Thank you guys for watching. If you would like to see the video of me playing that blue Classic 8060 Valvetronix amp from the 2000s, huge amp, 12-inch speaker, this machine of a front panel, then please watch that video next. You will not be disappointed. I really loved that amp while I had it, and now I have this one, so it does kind of feel great. But watch that video next. You will not be disappointed. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.